Mute my. There's 20 people in the waiting room. This is your 60-second warning.
Tell me again.
60-second warning, 21 people in the waiting room.
Oh, I forgot to turn on all the lights.
Uh-oh.
Dun, da, da, da. Let's see. Whee! Let's crank it up.
Did you need to check your chimichanga face?
Yes. Oh, shiny face. Whatever. All right.
This is being recorded. All right, your 30-second warning. 28 people in the waiting room.
Very great. Very great. All right. I'm ready when you are. Whatever works for you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. And then just again, a reminder to have folks access that PDF. I'm going to open up the room now.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. Hey, everyone. There we go. I would like to get as many faces in front of me as possible. All right, here we go. All right, there's still some people in the waiting room. All right, we're starting to populate. This is looking great. Okay, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the next module of your Leadership Foundations week. So it is Tuesday afternoon at 1:30 Cupertino time, according to my iPhone. I love how they use Cupertino time. How did this morning go? Thumbs up? Fun? Learning a lot? Isn't Gonzalo great? I love that guy. He shared with me some of those notes. I'm like, how come you weren't in my, where were you? And I started grad school. So I hope you got some great perspective. We worked hard on that module this morning to try to, round out this perspective on how do I get ready for grad school. So that was this morning. Hope you got some food and nourishment. And now it is afternoon. And now I remember the 3 promises I made. Help you get a 15% raise, maybe more. Gonna lose 10 pounds and make you taller. All right, think we can do that between now and 5 o'clock? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. We did email you a PDF this morning, so there's a workbook. It's a 12-page PDF workbook. Did everybody get that? If you did not get that, Roy on my team is helping me run this meeting. So please chat with Roy. If for some reason that did not reach you, we will get that to you. And what you're going to need, you need that workbook, which we sent to the PDF. Hopefully, you have both Zoom on a laptop or a desktop and your cell phone free. I hope you have both. If you don't, it'll work out. But it's easier if you can do Zoom on your laptop or desktop and then have your cell phone free, because you're going to record yourself. You're going to make 2 speeches today, a before and an after. And I would love every single person to have 2 videos of themselves. And Sunday afternoon, I made it through Leadership Foundations. You're going to exhale. You're going to reflect on this week. And I would love it if you could go back and watch yourself. Watch your video A and watch your video B. And you'll see the improvement. You're going to get better, even within this one workshop. If you have a Sharpie and Post-its, that's great. If you don't have Sharpie and Post-its, if you have a pen and a piece of paper, that will also work. And if you have like a manila folder, that's great. If you don't have a manila folder, the alternate to that is white paper. Okay, so that's all you need for this workshop. All right, so we ready? Wave at me. I see, who do I see? I see Beth, Angelica, Blake. All right, got a thumbs up. Shilpa, Dylan. I love how many Dylans are in this class. Go Dylan, go Dylan. There's like 4 of you. It's awesome. I feel so included. I love it. It's the most Dylans ever. I should have had a slide yesterday. That would have been totally egotistical. So we didn't do that. But welcome, and I'm glad you're named Dylan. All right, here we are. So I love this. Just to repeat, repeatable messages. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Mary Oliver, I love this poem. I think that life is wild and precious for me. And I get to give you something today that's made a tremendous benefit to me. I love speaking in public. It's given me my career. It gave me my wife. You're going to hear about that later today. And I think it's a skill that can be learned. And I think it's a skill that's critical to leadership. If you don't open your mouth, you don't become a leader, in my observation. So what do you want to do with your wild and precious life? Let's teach you something about speaking in public today. Another poem, Make Today Your Masterpiece, excuse me. Coach Wooden, our famous Coach John Wooden. Make today your masterpiece. Make this week your masterpiece. This week is a gift. This week is a gift that you earned. And continue to give yourself permission to just be here. You don't have to do it perfectly. If you have an imposter syndrome moment, that's okay. Maybe you're not exactly a fan of public speaking. That's okay. It's all good. You're going to take incremental steps this week. Step, 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 step. Before you know it, you will have made a whole stair step up, and you start to get a better view, and the world starts to look different because you're in graduate school. Give yourself the gift of the week. Make this week your masterpiece. The faculty, the staff, FEMBA Council, FEMBassadors, all of us, that's our commitment for this week. All right, so let's do an exercise in your chair. Shoulders loose, arms loose, okay? So there's a moment before you speak in public, and it's a precious moment. And I invite you to start to practice this. Just, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 in, hold it for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 out. Just get present, okay? So we're gonna just do it together in your chair. Breathe in like you're smelling a flower. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then blow out like you're blowing out a birthday candle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple exercise. Our body always needs the next breath. Sometimes when we speak in public, we get nervous. One way we can calm our body down. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's a very simple, very powerful way to get centered. People hate to watch people talk in public who are nervous. People love to watch people talk in public who are confident. One way you can make yourself confident before the microphone turns on, before you open your mouth. Okay, you always have control over your next breath. So quick note on LinkedIn, this is a total random. Many of you are gonna want a LinkedIn, and I love to connect with every single one of you. Add a note. If you add a note, it makes it so much easier for me to just click confirm, okay? Because otherwise I don't automatically know who you are because we don't have your cool UCLA headshot yet because we're doing this remotely. You'll get your official UCLA headshot in front of the bricks. You'll get that soon, but you won't have it right now, so I don't automatically know who you are. So I love to connect on LinkedIn, and if you could just send me a note, hey Dylan, it's me from section 2 or whatever, you know, just so I know that you're one of the class of 2023, it makes it super quick. I will instantly say yes. All right, so here we are, Tuesday afternoon, 1:30, the coveted after lunch spot. Got to keep you awake. And this is a day and a half into your leadership foundations. And yesterday I said, congratulations for those 3 things, right? You got a promotion. You're CEO of your own life. What's he talking about? I don't know. Try it on. Just try it on like a jacket. Does this fit? Does this work for me? Do I want to be CEO of my life? What's different if I actually relate to my life like I'm CEO of my life? I got a board of directors. The second, congratulations. What's that about? We're going to use this module to deepen your board of directors. Your takeaway, if you want to skip to one of the punchlines, the very last page the very last page of the PDF, there's an optional bonus assignment available for you with your board of directors where you can support each other this fall. And I'm going to explain that as we go through the workshop. And then lastly, all of this is around your leadership practice plan that you're going to develop, right? Your leadership practice plan. I told you yesterday, that's a very special thing to do. Most people don't have a leadership practice plan, let alone practice one. Only people who are up to extraordinary results would do that. So just to remind us, we're halfway through day 2 of this 5-day wedding. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. So Stand and Deliver. This is my 5th year teaching this workshop. I got to thank Bonnie Kim, my partner in leading FEMBA. She's the one who said, why don't we have Dylan teach that 5 years ago? The deans aligned on it. I've been teaching it ever since, obviously first time in Zoom. And I love teaching this. I get little attaboys all year long from this. People send me promotions. They send me cool results from their personal life. Dylan, I did that thing. I used the Post-its. I made the best man speech at the wedding. I asked my boss for the raise. It really worked. And sometimes they're kind of surprised, like they thought I was kidding. I'm not kidding. I think this really does work. You can get raises. You can get married. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. Very simple, yet very powerful. What we're going to talk about today, opening our mouth. So 15% raise, lose 10 pounds, be an inch taller. I'm going to help you do all of that today. That's my promise to you. So, all right, I want to do some audience interaction. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Your boss says, hey, Calvin, 30 minutes from now, I need you to make a speech. There's going to be 50 people. Sorry to do this to you, but my kids got to go to the dentist. My wife's sick. I'm going to give this to you. So Calvin C., what's your initial reaction? Boss says 30 minutes, you're on. You got to make a speech. And I want to hear from a couple others. You raise your hands and I'll call on you. What's there for you right at the moment that gets given to you by your boss?
Yeah, my first response would be, or my first thought would be, oh, what do I talk about?
Excellent. Hey, boss, happy to do it. The topic would be beautiful. We're going to talk about always know what the heck you're talking about. That is speech communication 101. Perfect. Great start, Calvin. How about Quasi? Quasi, what's right there? Your boss says 30 minutes, you're on.
Who's the speech to? Who are you speaking to?
Beautiful, beautiful. Audience analysis. Always, who am I talking to? Always, who am I talking to? Thank you, Quasi. Yoon, Elizabeth, what's there for you?
How long should the speech be?
Yes, great. Thank you, boss. I'm happy to do this. Tell me again, how long do I have? Always confirm that. Always triple check that. One of the bonus tips I'm going to tell you at the end of today is never, ever, ever go too long. It could be Beyonce, you know, second encore. Oh my God. And then Beyonce comes out for the third encore. And it's like, Beyonce, look, man, I got a babysitter. I got to go home, right? Never, ever, ever go long. Beautiful. All right, let's do one more. Lenora, what's there for you? 30 minutes, you got to make a speech.
Yeah, I would ask, is there any other? So do I follow someone else, or is my speech the intro speech or the conclusion, or 1 in 10 people who are speaking?
Excellent. Just asking for clarification. What's the setting? What's the venue? How long do I have? Am I following someone? Do I need to introduce someone else? Beautiful. Okay. These are all great. I'm not going to call on everybody right now, but I appreciate that. Here's another thing you can do, and all of that was accurate. Right? Just get centered, because sometimes we go into like excitement mode when it's time to talk in public. So in addition to all the good analysis that you all just did, who am I talking to? How long do I have? What's the topic? You know, just take a second. Wow, my boss looked around and he's putting me, or she is putting me on this. Look at me. All right, I'm getting a little taller already. Great. And I want to be present. I want to have fun with this. I want to leave a good impression on people. I want to give a little executive presence. I want to represent, right? I want to represent myself, my team, my department, my company, whatever it may be. So get present. There's no crisis. Everything's going to be good. And this is an opportunity for me to be a leader. And one of the things you're going to notice, like you're going to leave this week, you're going to start looking for leaders. I just did leadership foundations, and you're going to start scanning the environment for leaders. And you're going to start asking, what do leaders have in common that you respect? What do leaders have who you don't respect? More of this, less of that. But one thing you'll notice across the board, leaders speak, right? Without language, leadership doesn't happen. Leadership is a function of language. That's what they all have in common. Great, average, bad. They're opening their mouth and they're creating a future that wasn't going to happen anyway, and they're guiding people towards that. And they're asking for alignment, support. They're asking people to come along. Speaking is what leaders do. And we're gonna give you this speech today. You're gonna make this short speech. This is not a 10-minute, this is gonna be a 2 to 3 minute speech. You're gonna give it twice. And I'm gonna invite you next week on Tuesday after the weekend, when you go back into your world, I want you to start looking for opportunities, little micro speeches. Where can I run a meeting? Where can I make an introduction, introduce my boss, right? Where are ways where I can start to get my voice out there so people start to see me newly? Look at Dylan. He's off getting his Anderson MBA. Good for him. Yeah, I noticed he's got a little pep in his step, right? Look at Eunice. Look at, right? You want people to start noticing you. Fly your FEMBA flag, right? I'm going to grad school. I'm investing in myself. And they're going to notice. Speaking is what leaders do, and speaking can be practiced. So even if you don't like public speaking, it's a skill just like anything else, and it can be practiced and you can get better at it. So today is practice, but next week you go back to your life, and that's the beauty of FEMBA. It's the beauty of an executive MBA model. You keep working and you get to take this back into your real life in real time, and you start to get results. You don't have to wait 2 years. You start to get the results Tuesday afternoon. So, all right, let me see. Who do I want to call on? This is ancient Chinese secret type question here. When is the best time to plant a tree? I see Blake. Blake, what's the best time to plant a tree?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Excellent. I like that answer. Kanti, when's the best time to plant a tree?
Before summer.
Before summer. Excellent. Are you a biologist? That was a very good, very good answer. All right. Natango has an answer. Natango.
50 years before you need it.
Oh, very good. Yes. So when's the second time best? Okay. So first time, the best time to plant a tree is 50 years before you need it, right? That's the best time to plant a tree. The second best time to plant a tree is, Leon?
After you cut another one down.
Oh, that's an interesting answer. Okay, not what I'm looking for, but I like that. How about Andrew? What's the second best time to plant a tree?
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. The best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, because then it grew, it's there, right? But sometimes in life, we're just standing in the sun and it's hot. Gosh, I wish I had a tree. Well, the second best time to plant a tree is right now. So this is for those of you, some of you love speaking in public. Some of you, this is like, yeah, sign me up for this. I make a living. I'm a consultant. I'm a salesperson. But others of you, it's like, that's not my favorite part. But I know in my intuition, I know that my MBA is going to give me confidence. And I know that I want to be a person who's comfortable speaking powerfully and professionally. So this is for you. The second best time to start learning public speaking is today. Yesterday, today, right now. And it may take 5 or 10 years before you really start to come into your own. That's okay. You've got 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of active life in front of you. Profit, nonprofit, family business. You're going to be leading in many areas of life for the next decades. So even if you don't really like this right now, it's all good. Today is a great time to get started. So the name of this week, Leadership Foundations, right? That's the name of the week. Leadership is going out there and making stuff happen. Foundation is what are you going to stand on? Who am I in relationship to being a leader, right? And this is this reflective week. This is this chance to be with the faculty and each other and actually start to have a point of view. What kind of leader am I? I'm a leader in development. I'm a leader in training. I'm a pretty good leader. I'm a gonna be leader. Wherever you are is fine. Wherever you are is fine. This week is a chance to just start to true up. And then we make this leadership practice plan and we start to take steps to become what's next, each and every one of us. All right, so I love metaphors. I like to think of leadership as a dance. And we're going to talk about body language today. And I'm going to invite you to think about your body like it's not you, right? This is just the vessel. This is the one I got, but this is actually not me. There's something that's, I mean, I'm in here, and if you cut off my head, the whole thing ends, but like, try to take a different relationship to it. Like, for purposes of this exercise, this workshop, what if I'm not my body? What if my body is a machine and I can tell it what to do? And, you know, it can do all this stuff, right? What is dance? Dance is what our body does in space, often in relationship with music, but doesn't even have to be. Well, what is leadership? Leadership is using language to have a future arise that wasn't going to happen anyway. Right? And what if leadership is like a dance? So let me take the metaphor forward. What if leaders dance? Leaders speak, they use language to create a world, and leaders dance. Right? Because a dance, it's not one thing. A dance is in relationship to the environment, and a dance is a self-expression. A dance is something that comes out of me. And it communicates to those around me, and it invites people in, a lot like leadership. And dancing can be practiced the same way speaking and leadership can be practiced. So if I ask you, like, what's the best kind of leader? Right? There are a lot of answers to that question. If I ask you, what's the best kind of dance? Right? There are a lot of answers to that question. There's a lot of ways to be a leader. And I may be this kind of leader over here and a different kind of leader over there. The same way I may do, you know, I go home to Texas, I can do line dancing. We can do all that. How y'all doing? Right? Which is a different type of dance than, oh my gosh, I'm at a wedding and it's formal and we're all dressed up, right? All kinds of different opportunities because life gives us all kinds of different ways to be. And this week is about discovering for yourself how you might be. So just like there's no one way to be a leader, there's no one way to dance. And our body today, I want you to think about your body like, because it's going to walk in the room before you ever open your mouth. Your body walks in the room first. So what is your body saying? Is it inviting people to dance with you? So we got the 3 pillars. Dean Bernardo talked about this yesterday. Think fearlessly, share success, drive change, smarter, better connected, and more confident. That's how I think about it. And I love this module, this stand and deliver module, because this is about drive change. This is about, whoa, I'm going to raise my hand and say, hey, world, I've got an idea. Can I run that project? Because until I raise my hand, I can be the smartest person in the room. Until I raise my hand, nothing changes. Okay, so we've got the little workbook. I think I got all the page numbers. The page numbers were all off by 1 this morning. So I got that fixed over lunch. So we're on page 2 down here. So why do we have stand and deliver? This is what I want to give you in this module. I want to empower you to speak powerfully in your professional life. Here's my assertion. A leader's effectiveness is a function of her or his or their speaking ability. I want to give you a basic speaking toolkit and a chance to practice. I want to develop each of your ability to speak and to ask effectively. If we practice, we can improve our confidence. We can enhance confidence to speak and lead. After the workshop next week, back in life, I want you to proactively seek new speaking, asking opportunities to accelerate the value of your UCLA MBA in your career. I want to give you an opportunity. I already alluded to this. At the end, I'm going to invite you to make a promise to your board of directors about something that you want to ask for that would really make your eyebrows go up and down. That would be a wow MBA result for you, even right here at the outset of the program. It can be professional or personal, your choice. And I'm going to invite you a lot to this, but really do relate to each other like the board of directors to each other that you are. As much as they're going to support you, you can return the favor and support them. Okay? And so that this isn't just a 3-hour workshop that gets lost in the bigness of the week, but rather that this can be a chance to make a claim, stake some ground that you want to take so that you can get one of these wow MBA results because you speak, because you stand and deliver, because you open your mouth. So that's why we're here. Okay, little mood check. And we're going to stay on page 2 here. So let's do the, let me do the rainbow of hands. Who hates to speak in public? Wave if you hate this. This is not your thing. All right, Ann, thank you. Matt, not your thing. Blake, not your thing. Okay, so that's like a 0. Other end of the spectrum, you know, sign me up. I always want to be in front of the room. All right, wave at me. I can only see one page. All right, Andrew loves it. Natango, Kwazi. All right, excellent. Everybody, take a moment, 0 to 10. Give yourself a grade right now. Day 1.5 of Leadership Foundations. Right? Just write it down on a piece of paper somewhere. Are you a 0? I hate this. This is the least favorite part of the MBA, but I knew it was going to be there, and I'm glad to do it, even though it's like bitter medicine. Or the other end of the spectrum, you know, like the heck with all that quant stuff. Just let me talk. I'm the best salesperson, right? Doesn't matter if you're a 0, a 5, or a 10. I want to give you something new today. And again, if you're over here, if you're like a salesperson, 100% commission, consultant, speak for a living, this may be your chance to just pay it forward. You may actually end up being the subject matter expert for your board of directors. And that's what's so great about FEMBA. Everybody's going to have some classes where they get to be the star and they get to share. Everybody's going to have some classes where they're like the novice, total brand new beginner, and they've got so much to learn. Doesn't matter, wherever you are is perfect. UCLA is a lab. This is a laboratory, and the experiment that you're running is your career. This is the laboratory. This is the place, and I bring my career and we experiment. What else could I be? What else could I do? What else is out there? How do I enhance the career I have, switch to a new career, explore my options, become an entrepreneur, run my family business? It's all good. It's all available. And there's nobody to compete with, just to repeat that from yesterday, right? Imposter syndrome, the comparison trap, let go of all of that. Who do I compare myself to? Me yesterday. That's all that I need to worry about. You be you, I'll be me, but we're all going to be the best version of you and me. And we're going to support each other. And that's what makes Anderson special. We really do share success around here. It's just a lovely place to be. Okay? So we're going to give you some example of that right now. So here's our agenda. Okay? About an hour, I'm gonna kind of set things up. I'm gonna give you the Stand and Deliver workbook and the toolkit. We're gonna talk about why. Start with why. Always start with why. Audience analysis got mentioned. How to cluster ideas. Like, I got so many ideas. How do I get them out of my brain so I can work with them? How do I frame them into a compelling message? Going to give you a paper version, which is Sharpie Post-it, and a manila folder, and we're going to give you a digital Zoom version. Same thing both ways, but we're going to give you a way to get your brainstorming out of your head and then frame it so you can get your strongest argument. You can get some good supporting. So we'll take about an hour to do that. And then I'm going to launch you off into your study group, and you're going to each get 5 minutes, and you're going to make a 2 to 3 minute speech. And you're going to record yourself, and you're going to give constructive feedback. You're going to go once around, and we're going to come back, and we're going to debrief, and we're going to hear what you learned. And then I'm going to give you actually 3 new tools. I'm going to give you executive presence, speech act request, and then an improvement for the message frame. And then you're going to go back to your groups a second time. You're going to give the very same speech a second time with a couple of tweaks, and people are going to guess and see if they can see what you changed. And you're going to see the improvement. Sunday, when you watch your 2 videos, A and B, you're going to see, like, look at that. In a 3-hour workshop, I actually got better at public speaking. I can't wait for Tuesday morning. I'm ready to go. Okay, then we're gonna talk about next week, fall quarter, and give you the opportunity for some bonus work that you can do to support each other. So that's our workshop. We'll take about a 10-minute break in the middle after we come back from the first video. Okay, so today is a workshop, not a class. This is a 3-hour workshop, 3.5-hour workshop embedded within the 2-unit Experience of Leadership Foundations. In the future, when you get to electives, remember you got 9 electives, 20 classes in total, 9 electives. In the future, you can take full classes, which include negotiations behavior, persuasion and influence, patterns of problem solving, strategic business communications, storytelling, managerial interpersonal communication, advanced management communications. So, we may even have different ones by the time, it's a year and a quarter from now, winter of your second year. That's when the electives kick in. So if you love this stuff, there's more of it waiting for you later on, but I don't want you to wait until then. If I can give you a little tidbit today that can help you get a raise before Christmas, you're welcome, right? I'd love to give that to you. And I've literally had people take this simple little workshop and literally do that. And it just makes my year when the emails they just come in randomly. Hey, I did this thing and it really went well. So you are going to write and give a speech. That's what we're going to do now. So let's go to page 3. Page 3 on this, if you got this pulled up, and start with why. Okay? Start with why, figure out who your audience is, figure out what you're going to talk about. Those 3 things are always most important. And we're talking today not about like an informative speech, but about a persuasive speech, an influential speech. We're talking about the kind of talking that a leader does. Leaders don't inform. Leaders don't just give updates. They have staff to inform and give updates. Leaders take those updates and then say, now where? Now what? What's the critical reality based on that information? Where do we got to go now? Okay? So executives always ask for stuff. Think about it. Think about a VP or an SVP that you like in your organization, who you respect. They walk in the room, they're no nonsense, their body language is powerful, they have, they're into what they're into, you want to know more, they got an energy about them, and they're always asking for stuff. That's what executives do. They ask for stuff. And you are an executive in training, and you're going to start practicing asking. You're not going to ask for big stuff at first, you're going to ask for small stuff, but it's the same muscle, and you're going to exercise that muscle, and it's going to get more and more comfortable to ask for things. Okay? So start with why. So why am I going to speak? It says right here, you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't open your mouth, nothing changes. Executives ask for stuff. They make requests. Dylan Stafford, I like to quote him. Okay? This is where the rubber meets the road. Wow, I'm going to speak. Why am I going to take advantage of that moment? Because if I ask for that and they say yes, things can go forward. So if you get asked to speak and you don't have a why, maybe you should just pass that forward. Say, I'm honored that you considered me, but I don't want to be greedy and I really don't feel like I have anything to add to that. Why don't we share that opportunity with Jessica? I think it'd be great for her to have some of the spotlight, right? That could be a really classy thing to do. You could actually pass if you don't have a good why. But if you've got a why, like why should I make that request? Why should I make that speech? Why should I be at the microphone? Oh, I know why. That's the opportunity I want you stepping into on Tuesday morning, okay? So we're gonna practice asking, and we're gonna make this real. You're gonna practice asking for something that you actually, really, in your life, no kidding, want. This is not a hypothetical speech. I actually want you to ask for something that you want, that one person could grant, and that if it were granted, it would light you up. It'd make you smile. It would be a good thing. It might even be in the category of a wow MBA result. Okay? So I'm just start thinking, because you're going to get to pick one. So similar to speaking, some of you love and some of you hate to ask for stuff. I'm from the South. I'm Southern. I hate to ask for stuff. I want people to read my mind. I'm a terrible husband. My wife is from New Jersey. She has no problem asking for what she wants. She's from a very different culture than I am. She is from that New Jersey, New York, Northeast, in your face, no doubt about where they stand. I'm from the South. How y'all doing? Fine. House is on fire. The dog left. Fine. Right? It's just my cultural upbringing. It's hard for me to ask for stuff. Easy for my wife to ask for stuff. Okay? Wherever you are, it's great. We're all going to practice because leaders ask. Leaders speak. Leaders dance. Leaders ask. Asking is what leaders do. And it's a superpower. You don't think it's a superpower? Go watch children. I've been staying at home with my 2 children for 26 weeks. I got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. Dad, I want to do screens. Dad, can I do screens? Dad, I want to do Minecraft. Dad, can I do Call of Duty? Ask, 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 ask. All the time, every day. My wife and I, we try to have boundaries, and we try to, do your homework first and then reward yourself with the screens. They don't care. They want to do screens first, homework maybe. Okay? And they're powerful and they wear us out. Asking is a superpower. We were all children once. We all know how to do this. And I want to give you some tools today so you can ask professionally. Because children don't ask professionally. Children are just annoying. They just ask for what they want over and over and over until they wear you down. I want you to be able to do the professional version of that. It's just a little less annoying, but it's equally effective. So watch kids ask. Kids are powerful. So these are my 3 MBA regrets. And I want to give them to you now because all of them could have had a different outcome had I been willing to ask. So these are the 3 things that I wish I'd done differently in my MBA. Number 1, we had a professor named, those of you who know finance, we had a professor named Eugene Fama. I got a finance concentration, but I chickened out and did not take Eugene Fama's class. Everybody said how hard it was and the reading was so, and I was like, I don't want to see, so I just skipped it. And of course, a few years later, Eugene Fama won the Nobel Prize. What's the point? If I'd opened my dumb mouth and said, hey, board of director, I want to take Fama. Will you take it the same quarter as me and will you kind of help me through if I get lost? If I'd asked for help, then I could say that I took a class with a Nobel Prize winner, Eugene Fama. But now I can't say that. That's regret number 1, and it could have been solved with an ask. Regret number 2, my grandma, my mom's mom. My grandma helped pay for my cousin Debbie to go to college. I could have asked her to help me go to grad school. I paid for undergrad with scholarships, and I just took out all these loans to go to grad school. My grandma, I think, had some money. I don't know. It's not like Rockefeller or anything like that, but I think if I'd have asked, she probably would have said, sure, I'll pay for a third of that. But I chickened out and I didn't ask. And the third one, after we graduated, a bunch of my really good friends from school, they did an African safari. It was like 15 days, and it was some untold amount of money back in 1995. I think it was like $6,500 or something, which a long time ago, that was a lot of money. And I just borrowed $99,000, and my great aunt had given me 20, so I had $79,000 in debt. And I just thought, oh, I just borrowed all this money. I'll go to Africa like in 10 years, I'm sure. Guess what? 26 years later, never been to Africa. Right? And that opportunity is gone. Those people will never be together for that type of moment again. I didn't ask anybody. I could have, I could have asked my mom and dad. Maybe they could have helped with part of it. Could have asked my grandma. I could have asked my financial aid counselor, who would have said, hey, you're going to amortize it over 20 years anyway. Why don't you go for it? Treat yourself. I didn't ask anybody. I just got kind of resigned and then, didn't take an action. So this asking is powerful stuff. And I want to give you an opportunity to start building that muscle. ASK to GET. It's a silly way to say it, but it's kind of memorable. I got to ask if I want to get. Speaking and asking, all of this can be practiced. I can practice dancing. I can practice speaking. I can practice asking. 1,000 days to reinvent yourself. Just real quick, right? You're where you are right now, pre-MBA, and you're where you want to be post-MBA. You do anything a little bit every day for 1,000 days, and you will be remarkably better. You can practice piano for 5 minutes a day for the next 1,000 days. You'll be much better at piano. Heaven forbid, you can do what you're going to do in FEMBA, like 15, 20, 25 hours a week of education and practice of management and leadership. Okay? So get a little bit better every day. That's the game here. You don't have to do it all in a big chunk. 6-pack abs, New Year's resolution, right? We all want 6-pack abs. You don't go to the gym once and get 6-pack abs, right? You make little adjustments. You adjust your calories, you adjust your exercise, you surround yourself with people who have a similar commitment, and the results start to show up, right? New Year's resolution, I'm gonna do whatever. And then you get to St. Patrick's Day and you forgot all about it. Or you surround yourself with committed people and you get to St. Patrick's Day and you're starting to hit your stride. That's the game I want you thinking about. This is a marathon, not a sprint. These 1,000 days of FEMBA. And this week, this gift of the week, this is where I get to launch that. And these people, left and right of me, these are my people. And I'm their people. And we're in this together. Okay, so wow MBA results, right? I want you thinking like, what's a stair step? What's a big stair step? So you focus on the little improvements, but you be expecting the stair steps, right? And they happen. And when they happen, they're the reward for all the little work that you've been doing. So my story, my first wow MBA was my first job. I was a college recruiter before after college, before grad school. And then after grad school, I tripled my salary, my pre-MBA to my post-MBA salary. I went from $16,000 a year to $55,000 a year. That was cool. And then 2 years after that, I went from that to this incredible promotion to Germany where my salary doubled again. And I paid off half my student loans while I was assigned to an international location, Munich, Germany, with my company for 3 years. And how this is, I didn't ask grandma, but I did ask to go to Germany. I asked a lot. I asked anybody who would listen. Hey, I'm the new kid. I just got my MBA. I just got here. I love Santa Clara. This is really nice. But you know what I really want? I want to go to the world headquarters in Munich. And I asked anybody who would listen for a long time. And then I got that promotion. And I want to empower you to get those kind of results. This is what it looks like on a graph. I show this in YFMBA 101. I graduated from Texas A&M in 1991. I got zero salary, no debt because I had scholarships. I got a job being a college recruiter at Texas A&M for $16,800 a year. Then I borrowed $79,000. My great aunt, my grandma's sister, gave me $20,000. God bless Aunt Virginia. So my debt load after MBA was minus 79. And then I went to Siemens, the German company in Santa Clara, making $55,000. So I went from 16 to 55. That was in 95. For 2 years, I was a squeaky wheel. I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Germany. Picked up German executives at the airport in San Jose, took German classes on Tuesday nights, hung out with all the German delegates. I was just Mr. Germany. And I was always asking, how do I get to Germany? What do I have to do to get to Germany? Over and over and over. So everybody said, yeah, that's that Dylan kid. He's, the MBA kid. He always wears a suit, run around, chicken with his head cut off, and he wants to go to Germany. And sooner or later, I created a promotion to Germany, and I got a cost of living allowance. I got a corporate apartment. It was incredible. I was getting paid to live in an incredible city in a really cool environment, and I got to be there for 3 years. It was a wow MBA result. There's no way Dylan Stafford from Denison, Texas, with a history degree from Texas A&M is getting paid to live in Europe for 3 years. It was awesome. And I want that kind of result for you. So that's what today's about. So I practiced asking, doubled my salary, gave me one of the best life experiences of my life. So we're going to practice asking for something you want. I gave you that a couple minutes ago. I hope you're thinking about what's something I want. Something I want that one person could grant. So I'm not talking about world peace. I'm not talking about social justice. I'm not talking about big stuff. That's important. That's not this. This is something specific that one person could grant. So on page 3, where we go? Down here at the bottom, there's a call to action. What could they do that would, what's something I want that they could grant that would make a difference for me? So let's see, let's do some hands. I would like to hear specific examples of something that you want that one person could grant, that if they granted it, it would make your eyebrows go up and down. It would be a wow MBA result. So Liam, I see your hands up that you may, but that may be from prior. You want to share? Nope, hand went down. Okay, Nicole, what is something you want that if you got it, one person could grant it, it would make you really happy?
So I'm a new hire in my organization. I've been in role about 3 weeks. So what I'd like to ask for once I hit my 90 days is for the tuition reimbursement that the company allows.
Excellent. Maximum tuition reimbursement allowed by the company once you hit your 90 days. Now, perfect, because that's very specific. Who is the person who would be able to grant that to you, Nicole?
My manager and the VP above me would probably be the ones who would be able to pre-approve that.
Perfect. Okay, that's a perfect example. Now, if you got that 90 days in your new job, and maybe you get 100%, maybe you get 50%, maybe you get 25. Anything's better than 0. If you got that, would that make your eyebrows go up and down?
I definitely think it will help, and it would be great.
Okay, good. Perfect example. Thank you, Nicole. Let's do 1 or 2 more. Oh, we got to call Dylan. Dylan D.
Hi, thank you. So I actually got a promotion a few weeks ago, maybe in like June, and it was for a woman who left the organization. I took her role, but because we're in the middle of the COVID crisis, they didn't give me a pay increase. And they said we can talk about it in fall quarter, which is now fall quarter. So I would like to ask for a 20% salary increase.
Excellent. And is there one person, Dylan, who could grant that?
The CEO.
Excellent. Okay. Perfect example. It's concrete. It would make me smile. It would make me happy. And there's one person who can grant it. Excellent. Let's do one more. Adina M.
Thank you, Dylan. I would say, so I've actually been with my company for about 1.5 years. And it was like pulling teeth, trying to get a raise, negotiating for a raise and a promotion. But I finally was able to do that. And I still feel as though it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I think something that would make me happy is my company, my boss going the extra mile to show me that they want me there. So whether that be through a raise or tuition reimbursement, either one would make me very, very happy.
Great. Great. So that's a good starting point. And my suggestion is continue to refine it, right? Like which one would be better? Is it the raise? Is it tuition reimbursement? Because people respond well to specificity, right? And this is me as a Texan Southerner, you know, I drive people crazy, you know, see if you can guess what will make me happy. Like that's a cultural thing that I do. And, you know, ex-girlfriends past, you know, it's like, dude, what is your major problem, right? It's so perfect that I married a woman from New Jersey because she's very, very clear, whereas I'm very kind of around and about. So just keep refining it, right? Because you're in the right ballpark. Let's do one more. What I'd like is, so these have all three of these were great. These were all work examples. How about a personal example? Like the one on the page here. I would like to ask somebody out on a date. That's something that one person can either say yes or no to. Or I got a roommate situation and I want to get a puppy. Let's just get one up on the court. Does anybody have a personal example of something I could ask for? One person could grant it, and if it was granted, it'd be like a great result. Anybody? Uzi, I see your hand.
Hey, hopefully people don't laugh at this one too much. I've got a daughter who's about to be 2, and I want to have another kid, and pretty sure there's only one person that can grant me that who hasn't yet.
Thank you, Uzi. That's very generous. That's very personal. I didn't mean like to make anybody uncomfortable. And you know, I have 2 children, not 3, right? It's a thing, right? A committed partnership, making a family. Like there are trade-offs, 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4 versus none. It's a very, very important conversation. And if we could empower you to have that conversation and you got a green light on that, would that make you light up? Would that make you smile?
You bet.
Yeah, perfect example. I'm looking for examples that are specific. And obviously in this case, that there's one person who can grant that. Perfect example. Thank you, Uzi. So we got 3 examples from work, 1 example from personal, all perfect. So that's what we wanted to do. So what's something I want? And then the second thing that you're asking is what's in it for them that they give you that? Because this is what I'm going to suggest. Part of how you get to yes is you get to a place where it's a yes for both parties. Okay, excellent, excellent. I think we've got this pretty well set up. Okay, so on page 3, at the top, if you printed this off and you were using this to prepare for a speech, you would write, you know, why do I need to speak? There's something that I want. I want a raise, I want tuition reimbursement, I want a second child, and then what's the call to action? I need the CEO to approve it, I need my boss to green light it, I need my husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend to align on expanding our family, right? So that's what page 3 is about. On the top, it's what I want, and on the bottom, it's the call to action. Now, moving forward to page 4, this is where you do a little, you don't just walk in there and ask. You do a little preparation. Who am I talking to? What's my CEO's point of view about raises or tuition reimbursement? What's my boss's point of view? What's my husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend's point of view? You got 1 child, why do you want 2? Like, are they pro? Are they con? Are they neutral? Are they cautiously optimistic? Would they like some markers before we go to that? Like, what about 1 more raise and then I'll feel a little bit more? What about we pay off our student loans and then we do it? All that personal calculus, right? So who am I talking to? What's my topic? What's the benefit of them about this? What's in it for them? Where am I going to talk, right? If I'm going to talk with the CEO, how long does it take to get on his or her calendar? May take 6 weeks before I get on the calendar to have a face-to-face or a personal Zoom, whatever it's going to be. When are we going to speak? How long are we going to have? If it's something personal like family, maybe that merits a babysitter and a nice meal, right? I don't know. Like, what's the appropriate setting for something as important as that, right? So you start to pay attention to all this stuff when the stakes start to get higher. You don't just walk in there and say, hey, I'm feeling a little underappreciated today. You know, you don't go off just kind of like that, because they'll kind of go, well, Dylan, you're having a little bit of an emotional reaction. I've done that before. I've shot holes in my career many, many times because I let my emotions get the best of me. I'll do the Texas silent thing for a long time, be upset about something, and then blah, go in there and just, you know, make a mess. Some of this is learning by doing it wrong, and I'm trying to shortcut some of that. I don't want you to do it wrong. I want you to do it right. So this page 4, you start to map this out, get a sense of who they are, because you're not talking to a robot. You're always talking to a real human being with real thoughts, hopes, and dreams, real constraints. A lot of times bosses aren't even empowered to give you a raise right now. So you got to kind of think, well, what do they need to be a yes for me, right? all that stuff. You start to figure that out on this page. Now on page 5, now we're going to start to do this part that I love, and this is the post-it part. And we're going to if you have post-its and you want to do this with pen and paper, if you've got Sharpies and post-its, use that. Okay? If you don't, but you still want to do it, use a pen and paper. Or thirdly, if you want to go digital, click on this Notely. Notely is a cute little thing. There are a lot of apps like this. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to have the ability to take an idea, one idea per post-it, okay? And I want you to put one idea per post-it either in real paper or digitally. And I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and I'm going to ask you to just we're going to have just about 3 minutes, but I want you to write down all your good ideas. Why should I get a raise? Why should I get tuition reimbursement? Right? Why should we have a second child? Okay? And in no particular order, but here's the main thing. One idea per post-it, and don't write a speech. Just get the main idea. Children are great. You love children. I love children. Having children now, they'll be close together. Or we believe in corporate, we believe that we're a change agile corporation. We believe in ongoing growth and development. We believe that we are a learning organization. One of our mission credos is continual learning. I'm going to UCLA. I'm keeping my job while I go to UCLA. Keeping my job while I still work here is good for UCLA, is good for my company, it's good for me. I spent a lot of money to get my undergrad degree. I paid that off on my own. I'm going to spend a lot of money to get a grad degree. I would like to be sponsored for that. I want to be here 5 years from now making a big difference. UCLA is going to help me do that. If you help me with UCLA, I'll help you with your company needs, right? Clear? All right, 1, 2, 3, go. I changed the slide. This is kind of what it looks like. Just yellow Post-its. Throw them all over the digital cork board or throw them all over a white piece of paper or a manila folder. Don't worry about what order they're in. Just get them out of your head. There's no bad ideas. Just get them out of your head and onto paper so you can look at them. See them all in front of you. All right, we're gonna take about 1 more minute. You can keep working on this while I keep going. Okay, So if you're still writing, keep on writing. Just listen out of one ear. So you've just got 10 or 15 ideas. They're not in any particular order yet. So now you've gotten them out of your brain. Now we're going to start to cluster them, and we're going to start to put them into a framework. Okay, so we're going to organize our stickies either on Notely or on a piece of paper or on a manila folder. If you use Notely, before you would go speak in public, I would recommend you print it off, because you can't be great with people trying to read off your phone. It just doesn't work. It's too small. So you need to get it into a more physical format. This is a speech I gave to Interim Dean Al Osborne on August 3rd, 2018, thanking him for support for the leadership project I was working on, being a leader. So thank you. We launched our 6-day course. This is all about reciprocity. We're coming to you to say thank you in person. I talked about Warren Bennis. I talked about Michael Jensen, a new kind of human. We want to leave people being a leader. So this was my first point. This was my second point. UCLA 2.0. LA is the epicenter of leadership. LA is a leadership laboratory. And then, we talked about the Terasaki Institute, John Wooden, and I gave the 3 examples of the students who did the pilot, right? This was an entire speech. And I just walked in. Al Osborne, thank you so much. I had the other faculty there. I just set this to the side and I could just glance down at it. And it just made sure I didn't forget my main points, because, it's the dean. I'm in the dean's office. I get nervous. I don't want to forget. But that was the framework that it was in. So that's what we're going to do now. Right now you got random ideas, but now we want to start to put them into a framework. And I really want to make a plug for the utility of something physical. They really work. This is my little guy. He's 8 now. This is my younger son, Christian. This is when he's about 3 years old. This is Fembapalooza 6 or something. But look at my hand. That's my speech. There were like 800 people there. It's loud. It's, festival. But the dean's there. It's an important moment. And if you zoom in on it, you can see the columns, left, middle, and right. So you go from top to bottom, left to right. So welcome to Fembapalooza, our biggest ever. My name's Dylan. I'm the assistant dean. I want to welcome alumni, current students, new admits, I think the class of 2018, the biggest class ever, most women. I always love it when it's the most women kind of thing. And in the middle, we want you to connect. We want you to reconnect. We want you to play the Femba Fusion game. We want you to share business cards. I introduced DJ X, Francisco Xavier was our DJ. We've got 20 different classes of alumni. I want to thank Christy, Raymond, Maureen, Matt, Vanessa, and Cynthia. And then the bottom right, the call to action was I was handing the microphone forward to then Senior Associate Dean Margaret Shee. So it's big, it's crowded. I'm taking care of my 3-year-old. I can't lose him. I got a handheld mic. I'm wearing a cowboy hat. We're outdoors. And it worked, right? The heavy black ink on the yellow, even when you're stressed, you just glance down and you get the speaking points. You don't lose your place, even in bright light. If you use just a pen, you can't read it in bright light, or if you have to look down and really you want to be making eye contact with the crowd. That's example 1. This is example 2. This is an indoor setting. This is a pre-Palooza event. The person to my left elbow there, that's Hadley Stork. I showed her picture yesterday. She's one of the 4 ambassador leaders. So this is fun. This is me before Palooza, new admits, middle of the summer, in Corn Hall. I'm using a handheld mic. I got a red, white, and blue cowboy hat. I'm walking up and down the stairs. There's a lot going on, right? But it's fun. If your body is dancing, you can go get close to people. You can make eye contact, but you also don't want to trip and you don't want to lose your place. So you can't read a speech off your phone and have that much freedom. So this is a speech right there. Doesn't really even look like a speech. Just looks like I'm kind of holding something. Got the microphone, just glancing down, just glancing down. So I love this system and I really encourage you to play with it. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to be quiet again, and I want you to think about 2 main points. I think you would love being a mom a second time. Maybe that's the main point. What's in it for your partner? And second main point is what's in it for you. Okay, you don't have to. You can do it in any order you want. First main point, I really want to raise because bang, bang, bang. Second main point, I really think it'd be great for the company if I was a long-term employee here. Bang, bang, bang. Okay? So whatever you think the strongest argument is, make that be number one. And then the second strongest argument, make that be number two. If you've got some hard evidence is statistics, data, research. Soft evidence, stories, humor, a new idea you had in the shower, I've got as an example. So you always want to have a balance. Some people are persuaded by statistics. Other people need a story. Some people need a little of both. Always lead with your strongest point. Okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Cluster your ideas now. Don't worry about all the, you don't have to write it out. You're just getting the points in a order that's pretty good, and you can adjust it as you go. That's the beauty of the stickies. Just move them around. But you're not writing it out word for word. These are just the cues. All right, about 1 more minute, and then we will keep going forward. Thank you for all the comments. I can't track everything, so I'm not really following the comments while we're going. So please don't expect me to. I love them, and I love to read them, good, bad, or indifferent. It's all good. I just can't quite, I haven't mastered all these moving screens in parallel. All right. Okay, so congratulations. You just wrote a speech. May not be the Gettysburg Address, but that's okay. If it'll give me a raise or add a child to my life, might be worth it, okay? So good for you for that. You wrote a speech. Now, quick word. There, I saw one note in the chat. What if you ask and constantly get rejected? Here's another thing. You can call it perseverance, you can call it persistence, you can call it resiliency. But leaders and executives develop a lot of all those things, right? Dean Oley, and our former dean, she used to say, right, it's just business. And part of the MBA is you kind of get a little thick skin. You don't take it so personally anymore. You know, we ask, we get a yes, we move ahead. We ask, we get a maybe. All right, that's okay. We take a no and it becomes a maybe. Hey, that's still progress, right? So sometimes a victory is taking a heck no to a regular no, or regular no to a maybe to a maybe yes to a real yes, okay? So part of this is a little bit about patience. So I'm about to send you into your groups in about a couple minutes here. Roy's going to send us off into the groups. I think we have a couple guests who may not be in their technical group. So if you get an extra person, just make space. It's all going to work out. But mostly you're going to be in your fall quarter study group. We're going to practice constructive feedback. So the metaphor, the diamonds polishing diamonds, right? So there are two things. This is one of those opportunities where you're actually going to get to start helping each other get better at being the executives in training that you all are, right? Some of you, like I said, love this. You're salespeople, you're consultants, you speak for a living. For others of you, this is like nervous. It's okay either way. Everybody's going to help each other. One of the ways we're going to help each other is constructive feedback. So if you see somebody doing something right, you want to tell them, hey, that was awesome. And the way you do that is you say, here's what I saw that really worked. Okay? And just acknowledge. You don't have to say something, but if you feel that they did something that was meritorious and you want to call it out, tell them about it. Sometimes we do stuff well, but we don't even realize we do stuff well until someone takes the generous moment and points it out to us. Hey, Dylan, you run a really good meeting. Oh, okay. I didn't know I ran good meetings. Yeah, you always like keep us on task and type up the to-dos. I love it when you run the meeting. Oh, okay, good. And then you realize, hey, that's a competency I have, and you can refine it. You can teach it to other people. Sometimes we need to grow. So instead of saying you did nah, or being like I know it all, ask people to consider. Something that was missing was I didn't quite understand what you were asking for. It was a little vague. Could you possibly clarify that a little bit? Okay? Whatever it is, but we're going to practice constructive feedback. This is your board of directors. You're with these folks for the fall. You get to support them. They get to support you. So that's what we're going to do, constructive feedback. So Gonzalo, is going to tell you don't plagiarize. I'm not talking about plagiarizing. I'm talking about a metaphor. But, right? Steve Jobs loved to quote Picasso. Picasso supposedly said, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So you're going to see people left and right of you at Anderson who are just incredibly good at certain things. Like, why is she so organized? She never loses anything. What in the world is her? She must have the world's best digital organization system. She can like instantly access any piece of information from any device. What is her secret? And then you can approach her in the hallway and say, you're always on top of things. You never lose anything. Tell me your secret. She'll say, well, I use bang and bang and bang and bang system, right? And then you can borrow that into your life. That's part of the acceleration that's going to happen to your career while you're here, because you're going to be surrounded by all these best practices from all these other industries. Some of that's going to happen in the next 30 minutes, okay? And that's good. That's part of the deal. Okay, so here's the assignment. It's called The Board Will See You Now. Okay, so we're going to practice speaking and asking. You're going to get 30 minutes. We have groups of 6 or 5. If you're in a group of 6, it's 5 minutes each. When you get into your groom, the first thing you got to do is pick a timer. It should take about 3 seconds. Who wants to be timer? Who's good at a stopwatch? 5-minute increments. That 5 minutes is total per person. And it's about 2 to 3 minutes to make your speech, and then the remainder of the time to give constructive feedback, okay? I want you to record yourself on your phone, all right? Put it on mirror mode, hit record. I want you to have 2 recordings of yourself, this speech and then the other one about an hour from now. So whoever the timer is, okay, all right, who we got? Quasi, okay, Quasi. Actually, let's do it like this. We're gonna go alpha by first name. So Quasi would probably not be first. He'd probably be in the middle. So Calvin, let's say Calvin's group C is the first letter. Okay, so the timer says, Calvin, you got your phone turned on? Okay, good. So Calvin's going to say, okay, you guys are my boss. So Calvin tells us who we are. Are we the one person who can grant his wish or grant his ask? Who are we? Are we your boss? Are we the CEO? Are we a husband, wife, a boyfriend, girlfriend? Are you asking your brother? I want us to have one Saturday night a month during grad school where we go hang out like the old days. So maybe you're asking your brother to commit to one Saturday night a month. I don't know. But you tell us who we are. And then the timer says, okay, Calvin, you ready? Calvin gets his phone. He's got it propped up. He says, okay, you guys are my brother, And I'm going to ask about us having, like a committed brother night every Saturday, once a month. And the timer says, the board will see you now, which doesn't make any sense because it's a personal, but just go with the metaphor, okay? And that's your cue to go. So if the professional one, it'll make sense. The board will see you now. The CEO will see you now. It's the executive assistant. Okay, Senior Vice President Jones is ready for you now. And Calvin walks in and does his thing. You're gonna give constructive feedback, diamonds, polished diamonds, 5 minutes total. And then the timer will say, okay, after Calvin, who's next is Haddon. C-H, and then after Haddon, we'll do Paul, and after Paul, we'll do Zach, whatever the alpha is by first name. All right, 30 minutes total. And then we're going to give you a bonus 5 minutes. Okay, so Roy, you're going to have 30 minutes to do the exercise, and then 5 minutes, just take a break, and then we will rejoin, we'll debrief, and we'll do the second half of the day. All right? Any questions before we go? Okay, enjoy. Have fun, and we'll see you in 35 minutes. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. And let me share the screen. We may have 1 or 2 people still coming back, and that is great. Okay, so let's just raise some hands and let me call on some people. I would love to hear what you saw. What did you see in that exercise? Let's see. All right, I see Jared went first, and then I'd love to get some more folks. So Jared, what did you see going through that exercise? Good, bad, worked, did not work, yeah, buts, what abouts? What'd you see?
Yeah, no, I think it was really good, and we had a good experience. We had things that ranged from professional to personal.
Great.
One big or common thing that we saw during the feedback period, and I think something that strengthened a lot of our speeches, is really when you're making your points to try to make defined points, or if there's any number that you can throw on it to be more persuasive. Say, I say the company X, and we just thought that was a really powerful addition to speeches.
Nice. Okay, good. So a supportive environment, love to hear that. And then clarity, get the points tight. If there's some hard evidence that you can put with the point. Excellent. Anything else, Jared?
That's all I got.
I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. How about Whitney B? What did you see?
Yeah, I thought our group was really open with feedback and super transparent. I think the previous conversations that we had in the Anderson teams really sort of set the stage for an open and collaborative environment. And even if we had sort of contrary feedback or nitpicked or anything, everybody was really receptive. So I thought it was a really sort of positive environment that we had cultivated.
Excellent. Thank you, Whitney. Yeah, and I apologize. I misspoke this morning. You were not with Gonzalo. You were with Matt. We've got all these. You'll be with Gonzalo tomorrow. Excellent. Yeah, and that's part of the idea of this week is we're going to give it to you from a lot of different perspectives. It's like a hologram, and it's, this leadership thing, you look at it from lots of different perspectives. And as much as I want to empower Whitney to ask for what Whitney wants, yes, of course, in parallel, if we're also developing the norms within our study group, that's right there, equally important, because they just all go together. We don't want you to just have an okay fall quarter. We really want this fall quarter to be the best quarter in your academic journey so far. And you've been out of school 2, 5, 10, 20 years, right? The rainbow of time away. So this is all about that. So great. Let's do, I think we got 1 or 2 more. How about Robert? Robert, what did you see?
Yeah, so from our group, we had a lot of, sort of conversation and dialogue. And one of the things we had, we had a lot of good stealing, as you kind of referenced earlier, which is always good. And I think one of the points that we talked a lot about was the idea of when presenting your argument, what are the benefits for the person for what you're asking? So we talked a lot about, and not just them as an individual, them as the company, and them sort of in terms of like, what is the value that they're getting from it? And kind of all the different angles of it in terms of making it less about you and more about what it does for them.
Yeah, it's It's beautiful. Like people's time is precious. They have constraints, money, time, energy, and they you know, they can't do everything. So if they're going to allocate time or money or resources or attention to your topic, where's the reciprocity of that? So part of the value of the audience analysis versus just kind of walking in there, I think I know what they want. I don't know, you know, like giving yourself permission to think through your argument in advance. That's great. Anything else, Robert?
Yeah, the other big thing that we actually talked about was sort of when to say what we're asking for. That was sort of something we kind of had a discussion. It's like, do you lead with, I'm talking to you about this, or do you present your argument and say, as a result of this, I would like that?
Beautiful. Did you guys have a consensus? Was there a preference?
You know, a lot of us sort of went more in the direction of leading with the ask, but we also talked about it very much dependent on the relationship and what the dynamic was with that individual. Was it someone who's worked with them every day for the last 5 years, or was it someone that maybe they've been in 2 meetings with over the last 5 years, and how that would sort of impact how you would phrase the question?
Beautiful. And all this stuff, there's no formula for this. It's a recipe, not a formula. And you can vary the recipe. The general idea that I've been taught is lead with your strongest main point, get your ask up there pretty early. You know, we're here today to talk about, let people know the topic. And the way it's been explained to me is, you know, a lot of times the vice president, the senior vice president, the CEO, they don't give you the whole, you got half an hour and you actually only end up getting 15 minutes because they get pulled away. So there's a school of thought that says, get it up on the mat early. So even if you don't get to complete it, at least you planted the seed, and then you got to get back on their calendar and come back 3 weeks later. You know, there's another school of thought, which is, well, no, let me lay out my argument, you know, logically, coherently, with the kind of the reveal at the end. And yeah, do you know them a lot, or have you only been with them twice over the last couple of years? You know, that's the challenge of it. That's the performance art element of talking to real people who are busy. Excellent. All right, we got some more hands. Let me do one more. Let's see. I'll ask Cheney, and I'm just calling.
We talked about being specific is very helpful when you're asking for something. For example, if I'm asking for a raise, is it 10%, 20%? To be specific, and then you can find your reason to justify it better. Instead of just saying, I want a raise, then you can't have a very specific reason behind it and what you did to justify or to ask for what you exactly want.
Okay, so the power of a clear, specific request versus, you know, well, giving people, it's, yeah. And again, no right or wrong way to do it, but one of the things that you're helping them with is you're putting it up there. Look, this would satisfy me. Then they can relate to that. Right? And they have very often in organizations, there are constraints. How much budget do we have allocated? What are other people around you making? What about the people who've been here longer than you? What about the people who have different qualifications, right? A lot of times it's what's the value Cheney brings? Oh, we love that. But it's also contextualized with all this other stuff. So a specific ask, it, you know, again, it clarifies what you're looking for. So, okay, we're not going to get to everybody right now, but I appreciate that. Over here. So we're going to do the same speech again, same order, alpha by first name, but I'm going to give you 3 new tools. One is called Good for You, Good for Me. That's going to be with your message framework. Second one is executive presence. And the third one is I'm going to give you this thing called a speech act, a specific speech act called a request. Okay. How many of you had a little bit of like, how do I know when to end? How many for you was that a little bit of a question mark? Anybody? Just wave hands, see if I can see anybody. Okay. So the speech act request, it's going to make it very clear and clean when you get to the end. It's going to be very, very clean. So it helps with that kind of feeling of, I'm not sure if I talk too much or talk too little. I'm not sure that they really got what I'm asking for. So it helps with that. So how many of you ever heard that idea that 80% of communication is not what we say, but it's our body language and our it's not the words, but how we say the words. Anybody ever heard something like that? Anybody? It's one of those when you take classes in public presentations, it's one of those urban myths that gets thrown around a lot. And what I love about it is it's not an urban myth. It's based on research, and it's research that started here at UCLA with Dr. Albert Mehrabian, and he was the gentleman whose research, basically anytime you hear people say most of the communication is not the words, but rather our inflection, our attitude, our body language, all of that comes from his research, from his book, Silent Messages. And he was trying to figure out, what are the elements of personal communication? Why does this person get listened to and this person can say the same words but not really get heard? And he was curious, what is it when we're with each other? What is it that makes communication either happen or not happen? And what he found out was that only 7%, the little pink part of the pie chart here, only 7% of our communication is in the spoken words. 38% of our communication is our voice and the tone, right? And 55% is our body language. And that's what I want to invite you to do today. Think about your body. It's not me, it's just this tool. And I'm the person, it's like I'm the puppet master, and I'm going to tell this thing to do stuff, to smile, to stand up straight, right? To vary my inflection, to look at the camera. I'm gonna, it's not me, but it's rather this tool that I have because I am an executive and I want to speak and lead and communicate, and I want people to adjust and align and participate and be with me on this journey. I want to go somewhere and I need people to go with me, right? And my body is actually louder than my words, is the point of Dr. Mehrabian's research, okay? So that's this one. And so you say, okay, well, Dylan, that's nice, but give me some pointers. So that's where we're going to move forward to executive presence. And this, the Dr. Mehrabian, that's this pie chart in your handout, page 8. And then on page 9, we got a big list of elements of executive presence. And what do I mean by executive presence? I mean stature. I mean credibility. I mean confidence. I mean that aura of, wow, she's got her act together. I want to be on her team. I want to be in her division. I want to work for her company. Right? There are people who exude competence and confidence. And what do we call people who exude confidence and competence? We call them alumni of UCLA, of course. Right? We call them FEMBA students. You're developing the competence while you have the education, and you're developing the confidence while you have the experience. All of this comes together, the in-class, the curriculum in the class, and the experience, the extra curriculum that happens around the class. All of that is your MBA this week, this quarter, this journey. Okay? So, a couple things I want to point out. Point of view, body language, voice, eye contact, and dress. And I want to talk about the way, like a basketball player, the playoffs are happening right now. Those guys warm up, men and women, both leagues, they warm up before the game. They don't warm up during the game. Okay, so I want to talk about those 4 things, and they're listed more granularly here on this. So I want to talk about your point of view. Part of executive presence is going through the hard work that you are going through this week. What kind of leader am I now? What kind of leader do I aspire to be? What are my strengths? What are my areas for improvement? What is a leadership practice plan? Am I willing to like set my energy against that plan to take these steps, right? Leaders in life have done the work to be a person that other people will listen to. And you can't shortcut that. You either are credible or you're not. Leadership begins with me. Leadership is an inside job. Before anybody wants to partner with me, I have to get my own house in order. I have to get myself solid. I have to get my point of view. Once I've done that, when I speak, things happen. And that's how I know I've done it. When I'm still kind of in the discovery chapter of my life, I say a lot of things and people nod and smile, but they don't change their behavior based on what I said. As I start to take these stair steps up in my life and I do the heavy lifting, what is my point of view about our industry? What is my point of view about our company? What is my point of view about our division? What is my point of view about our team? Humbly, I've wrestled with this. I've looked at this from lots of different angles. I think I have an idea. Well, tell us more. You've earned people's trust. You've earned the right to have people listen to you. And that's part of this journey that you're on. That's what this week in this graduate degree is all about. So what I have to say matters. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm a leader and I'm seeking support. I can't get there without you. I am accountable for this speech. It's 100% on me. People listen to people who take accountability in life. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. You're participating with people on a continuum. Sometimes victory is taking a hell no and turning it into a regular no. But that might be a victory. So your point of view. So that's the personal work that you're doing right now to become a person that other people want to listen to. So that's the first of the 4 categories. Second one is body language, right? This thing, I got it from my parents. I have no control over it. I have no control over how tall it is. I have no control how big it gets. I mean, a little bit if I eat less, right? But it's got this much pigment, right? The eyes are this color. The hair is this color while I still got it, right? The gender is this gender. There's a whole bunch of stuff about this that I cannot change. But there are some things about this that I can change, and that's where body language comes in, okay? So I promised you access to a 15% raise, lose 10 pounds, and be a little bit taller. So here we go. We're gonna lose 10 pounds right now. Like, right? So here's this body. Nothing to brag about. It's just the one that I got, all right? Here's one kind of posture, and then here's a different kind of posture. Before, after. Before, very, very underwhelming. After, still underwhelming, but a little bit better, right? This is what I got to work with. I can't change a lot about it, but I can change, I can tighten up my abs and I can stand up straight. I can bend my back, right? I can take my shoulders and pull them back. I can free my hands and let them move about. I can walk into a room and I can own my room with my body. When we get done with Zoom. On Zoom, I think you own it a little bit also with your body, but a lot with just looking at the camera, making eye contact with the camera. So part of my promise to you is I'm going to help you lose 10 pounds and be taller. Posture, right? Even if you are a person, with constraints, right? Your legs don't work the same as other people's legs. You're in a wheelchair. There's always something we can do with our bodies. Stephen Hawking was the world-renowned physicist confined to a wheelchair, and the world listened to him even when he had to hunt and peck with a computer to express his thoughts, right? His body communicated even when it was in a form that was greatly hindered, because he had done the work to be somebody who had something to say, and the world wanted to hear what he had to say. And when he came in his wheelchair, his body communicated, Stephen is in the room. That guy we all are here to hear is now going to speak to us. So we all work with what we have, okay? And there are the pieces of it that you can control. And when you do your next speech, I want you to change something. Your point of view, your body language, your voice, your eye contact. You probably can't change your clothes, right? That's a little too much. I want you to change something about your executive presence, and I want other people to guess and see if they can guess accurately what you changed. Maybe you're going to stand up straighter. Maybe you're going to use pauses. You're going to put a pregnant pause. My most important point is, you're going to give it a pause before and a pause after. Maybe you're going to practice, a little more excitement in your voice. Maybe you're going to practice more eye contact. Maybe you looked down the whole time last time, but you want to make an adjustment, and I want your classmates to guess what you did. Your voice is your most powerful tool. Okay, let me just go through your body language. Stand in a relaxed position, your feet under your hips, your shoulders over your hips. Don't stand like this. That's a defensive position. Don't stand with your hands behind your back. This is not the Army. That's the at-rest position if you're a soldier. The business position, relaxed, balanced on my feet, not twitchy, making eye contact with my audience. I'm prepared to be here. I'm warmed up. I'm ready to go. What I say matters. I've got a personal, professional point of view, and that's coming across. My voice is my most powerful tool. I set the event with my voice. Who wants to listen to me? People like to listen to people who want to lead. So you start to develop a hunger. I'm ready for this. I'm an executive in training for these 3 years. And this is what I signed up for. And I'm looking for micro speeches. I'm looking for micro moments. I'm looking for opportunities to stand, to deliver, to get myself in front of people at work. Eye contact, you want to be out here with your audience. It's tough on Zoom. You guys, I got 25 of you down here. That's lovely. I can see, Whitney and Robert and Chris and Michael and Thomas and Uzi. But the camera's up here, and that's not all of you. So it's a trick. This whole new Zoom world, we're all learning to do it. But as much as you can, be making eye contact with people. The Post-its, they keep you from reading your notes. Never give a speech on a phone, because you look down, and when you lose eye contact, you lose your audience. Okay, quick couple things about dress, because the choices that we make, right? My wife is a management consultant. She, in a good year, makes a lot more money than me. This year, I'm going to make more money than her. She's going to bill probably a third of what she billed last year. But she gets paid to do corporate interventions with C-suite teams who've gotten kind of sideways. And about 5 years ago, she hired a color consultant who came and measured her skin in artificial light, measured it in sunlight, got her summer coloring, because our skin, human skin, when it gets a lot of sun, is darker. Human skin in the winter, when it gets less sun, we have a continuum from kind of our winter palette to our summer palette. And she took 18 bags of professional wardrobe to Goodwill out of her closet. And she slowly replaced that with all these new colors, cuts. She's got her power suit when she needs to land the deal. She's got her power suit when she needs to create a new relationship. Professional relationship. She's got her power suit when she needs people to trust her because she's facilitating a big room. I mean, there are days when she will walk out to go to work, to go to a client engagement, and it's like, whoa. So all of you start thinking, do I have a power suit in the closet? Do I have my go-to suit? The right tie, the right shirt, the right sports coat, the right blouse, the right shoes, right? The shoes that I put on and I stand a little taller. Do I have the nice wingtips or the nice pumps? The appropriate attire for the job that I want to get, dress for the job I want to get. My wife took me to Joseph A. Banks like 3 years ago, and all my old suits went away and they got replaced with much trimmer cut suits. I had to do a dress rehearsal on Sunday because for the last 26 weeks I've been wearing shorts and a polo shirt. And on Sunday I was so, please, please, please let these pants button for the suit that I wore yesterday, because that's my UCLA blue suit yesterday. I had the blue suit, the blue tie, the yellow tie with the light blue, right? It's all Bruin colors. I had it all set out on Sunday. The brown belt that matches the wingtips, that really, you know, put on the dress socks, the whole thing, drive to campus, feel like I'm about to speak to all of you in Corn Convocation Hall, even though I was in my office on the 6th floor and only Bonnie and I were on this floor, and, you know, Dean Bernardo was downstairs and Gonzalo was over at his home, like 2 miles from here. Like, even though you weren't with me live, I dressed appropriately to respect and honor the moment, which is, this is your one and only day one welcome to your UCLA MBA. So I have control over that wardrobe, and it makes me feel good. That's what I wore yesterday. Today, I've got slacks and leather shoes, but I got a polo shirt because I'm going to facilitate for a long day. Tonight, I've got Michelle Havens, our alumni keynote, and I'm still trying to figure out, what should I wear for that? Like, should I put on a jacket and keep the shirt? We always have control over our clothes, and people notice what we wear. The color, the cut, is it too formal? Is it not formal enough? Steve Jobs and his turtleneck, he was famous for that, right? So I'm spending a lot of time on body language. I'm spending a lot of time on clothes because we have control over that, and you can start to play with it. Maybe that's what you do this weekend. Maybe that's your congratulations gift. Go buy a new suit. You know, like, it's like buying a sequiny gown or buying a tuxedo, even when you don't have the occasion yet. You buy the gown, you buy the tuxedo, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I got a tuxedo. I need a black tie affair to wear it to. Well, you want to have that for your best business suit, or your best, you know, whatever a woman calls it. You can call it a suit, or however you call it, but your go-to. Like, I need to impress people. People need to take me seriously as a trusted professional. It's in the closet, wrapped in the dry cleaning bag, ready to go. You know, in case of a promotion, break glass, take the plastic, put on the power suit, get the yes. All right. So that was a lot about that. Last thing on this, the thing about athletes. Basketball players do not warm up. They warm up before the game. Same thing when you're going to make a big speech. You're going to get that time on the docket with the CEO. I came in 6 hours on Saturday. I was here 8 or 9 hours on Sunday, trying to anticipate what could go wrong. What's the lighting going to be? Is it going to be too bright? Do I have enough fill light? What, you know, I'm using a loaner computer because I took my other computer home. Do I got all the passwords? So inspect, don't expect. When you're getting your stage ready for a performance, inspect everything. Don't expect things to work. Expect things to break down. Roy and I got on an hour before for this, right? Just to make sure we tested everything. Well, actually 30 minutes before this one, but the one this morning we got on an hour before. Yesterday, we were all on an hour early. We had redundancy in the system. Those are the things that you have control over. And when you're an executive, you start to build out a team, because if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So you want to give yourself a cushion so that when the lights come up, no matter what, you're still going to go forward, but you've done everything you can to prepare yourself. Okay, that was a lot about that, but it's important. And this is the stuff that you can control. So I said I was going to give 3 upgrades. Executive presence, that was one. The second one here is a speech act called a request. So I told you about UCLA, Albert Morabian, that our body language is more communicative than the words we choose. So that's our UCLA reference. Now I'm going to tell you about a Berkeley guy, John Searle, and he talked about speech acts. This is a guy who is a student of language. So I told you that asking is a superpower. Little kids ask, we can ask, and asking is a superpower. But now I'm going to take it even higher, and I want to tell you about something called a request. And it's a very specific way to phrase what it is that you're asking for. It's not random. There's a design to it, and I'm going to invite you, when you give your next speech, to actually do it exactly this way. And it may feel weird, like those words don't come off my tongue very easily. They're awkward. That's okay. It's just like an athlete trying a new jump shot. The coach says, hey, adjust this. And you're like, oh, but I always do it like this. No, try this. See if it works better. Okay? So here it is. Asking is good, and I'm going to say requesting is better when it's done this way. So this is the speech act request. It's the handout on page 11. There are two sentences. The first sentence is, I request that you do X. So what's this? This was talked about in the feedback. You all were seeing. It's really helpful if it's very clear, very precise. I request that you do X, that's comma, by, and then a specific date. So I request that you reframe my job such that I can be paid 20% more, and I would like that by October 31st when we go into the next cycle. That's the first sentence. And the second sentence is, do you accept my request? So you got to say both. And the first sentence has two pieces, a first half and a second half. I request that you, my beautiful bride, seriously consider us having a second child. And I request that we actually make a decision by the end of the calendar year, whether we would like to do that next year, yes or no. Do you accept my request? That's a big, bold thing to ask, but it's very clear what is being asked for now, once you've said that out loud. What, by when, and now you've given them choice. And there are three things that a person can say when they're clearly requested in this manner. They can say yes, wonderful. They can say no, always available, right? When I'm a leader, I give people all the space in the world. I'm a leader, I'm going this direction. I'm inviting you to go with me. And if you don't want to go with me, I respect that. They can say yes, they can say no, or they can make a counteroffer. Also equally valid. But it gets really crisp and really clean when you start to use powerful language. It's called a speech act. It's an act of speech that actually causes something to occur that was not going to occur otherwise. So that is speech act request. Now, I'm going to give you a personal example of this. So here we go. That's my beautiful wife. This is the day we got married. That's my wife, Marissa, my forever wife. And when she and I met, we met in 2001, and we started dating. And I'd come back from Germany. I was living in Texas. She was living in New Jersey. And we met on a cruise in the Mediterranean. And then we were dating long distance. And we started to date. She liked me, I like her. That's good. And she said, Dylan, I request that you date me exclusively for 90 days. Do you accept my request? She did this to me. She used this on me. All right? So let me see a show of hands. I'd like to have some guesses as to what did I say? All right, Kanika, what did I say?
You said yes.
Okay, we got to vote for yes. Lenora, what did I say?
Definitely yes.
2 votes for yes. Cheney, what did I say?
Heck yes.
What's that?
Heck yeah.
I didn't understand it. Say it again.
Heck yes.
Heck yes. Okay, good. All right, those are the yes column. Who thinks I said no? Anybody think I said no? I don't know how to use this very well. Jonathan B., what do you think I said?
Can I think about it?
Okay, good. Michael V., what do you think I said?
Counter proposal. Can we do 120 days?
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for the hands. I got a lot of hands. I probably maybe should have done a poll. So I made a counter offer. So I was getting, I'm a person who doesn't drink anymore. And that was my first year of that back in 2001. And I had a what's called a sponsor. And he said, yeah, the first year you don't drink anymore, maybe don't make any big decisions. Don't start a new job. Don't get into a new relationship. So I liked Marissa a lot, but I was also really committed to seeing if I could live without drinking. And so I had a counteroffer. I said, look, I think you're pretty neat. Really, honestly, I do. No, I'm not playing around here. but I've got a pre-existing promise in play, which is I promised I would go from February 28th, 2001, I'd go to February 28th of 2002 without drinking. So I'd like to keep dating you, but I'm also just learning how to date. I'm not like trying to be a player. I'm learning how to date without the crutch. So that was my counteroffer. So she's like, all right, we'll see. And I dated a couple other people, but I was still dating Marissa, and it turned out I like Marissa most. I didn't make it a year. I broke my promise to myself. I made it about 10 months. And after Christmas, we started dating exclusively. We got engaged the next year. I followed her to California with the promotion with her job, and we got married in 2003. And I was like a decade off schedule. My mom and dad got married in college. They got married when they were 21, 22. Here I was 31, 32, still single. Like, what am I doing wrong here? Right? And then along comes this woman, and she says this crazy thing, and it got my attention. I dated a lot of really lovely people. No one ever talked to me like that. It was really powerful language. And it worked. I got my wife out of this. So I'm a big fan. You want a 20% raise? I think you can do that. I think you can do a lot more. This is the language that people use who are playing big games in life. It's very clean. It says what you want by when you want it, and it's respectful. It gives them a chance to yes, no, or counteroffer. Okay, so we're going to practice that. It's going to feel weird, and that's okay. Just let it feel weird, but practice it anyway. Okay, so 3 things. Executive presence, you're going to change one thing about yourself. Your board of directors is going to guess to see if they can guess what you changed. Second thing is when you get to the end, so in conclusion, we're having this conversation because I have a request. I request that you do X by Y. Do you accept my request? And then listen. They'll say yes or no or counteroffer. Okay, so those 2. And then the last thing, some of you may already have this, but in case you don't, I've been telling you this is a 2 to 3 minute ask. So this is pretty short, and you've got a main point 1, main point 2. I want you to, whatever's best for them, like what's in it for them, that's your first main point. So if you already have it that way, leave it as it is. But if actually the order could be reversed, your strongest point is what's good for them. Lead with what's good for you. Then as a secondary, talk about what's good for me. So we got all these examples from career, right? Look, I know this company really wants to be one of the top 100 places to work in America. And I know that one of our strategic imperatives is that we want to be a top tier employer because we are a continual learning company. So I want to be the poster child of what's possible around here. I want you to support me. Yes, I'll benefit from it, but I'm going to UCLA. I'm going to be working hard the next couple of years, but it's going to be catalytic. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to make results happen because I'm going to be learning all these best practices from my classes, from my classmates. And if you could sponsor half of my education, I could really be a poster child for why this company believes in people. So I request that you put me in the mix that I could be approved for either full or partial tuition support by December 31st when we go into next calendar year. Do you accept my request? Okay. So I'm kind of doing the whole thing, but you want to lead with what's good for them. And oh, by the way, it's good for me. So your strongest point is why this is good for them. My dear, beautiful wife, I want us to have the family of our dreams. And that old expression, you're never ready to get married and you're never ready to have children. But humanity has done it in spite of that since the beginning of time. And I'm your partner. I'm your forever husband. I think we could have a child next year. What do you think? Right? But lead with what's in it for them. Right? If we wait too long, maybe we won't. So I don't want us to miss our window. What's in it for them? Good for you first, then good for me second. Okay, so The board will see you now, practice number 2. Okay, so the only thing that's going to change is you're going to pick a new timer, going to go in the same order, alpha by first name. Record yourself again. I want you to have 2 recordings, please. Don't skip that part. The timer's going to say the board will see you now. You're going to give the same speech. Everybody already knows who you are. You're going to ask for what you want, but you're going to have the 2 new tools, executive presence, change something, see if they can guess what you changed, and then you end with the speech act request. Give the constructive feedback, diamonds, polished diamonds, switch and repeat, 5 minutes each. If you need to make your main point, the one that's most about them, do that. 30 minutes total. Again, how are we doing? 4 o'clock? Yeah, let's just do 30. If you need to take a break along the way, just leave a little time at the end, but not a long break. What's the executive presence change? Can they see what you changed? Okay, any questions before we launch you into your second speech? Okay, excellent. Roy, we ready to launch them back to their rooms? Okay, fantastic. It's now 4:01, so we'll be back 4:31. Thanks, Roy.
All right, done.
Awesome. Oh,
this is getting too easy.
Hey, oh, good. I want to sit down. Ugh. Oh, yes.
Dylan, do you have like a mark on the floor? There was a few moments where you were a little closer to the screen that it kind of cut the top of your head.
Oh, okay. I think I adjusted the angle also when I did the
okay.
The thing about taller. We have our student who's in the wheelchair, and I've all of a sudden been thinking, is that an insensitive example? So I was thinking about Stephen Hawkins. I got myself a little, we have our person with cerebral palsy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know when that person's going to be in which session. So, but anyway.
But, it was interesting. There was ableist language. I remember getting ableist language training.
Yeah.
And I think it was like language was step in, step out, or something like that. And then it was someone talked about that persons with mobility issues, and so it was take space, make space. And that was a very actually it's more accurate. Take space to bring your point, and then make space for others so they can have their point. Or lean in, lean out. So, yeah.
I'm not sure I'm understanding. Explain it to me more, please.
So you're worried about when you said the person in the wheelchair. Are you worried about the title of the presentation, or the language you're using in the presentation might not be?
Well, I was worried that the example is unaccessible.
Oh.
Because what's the point? The point is we have control over our posture. Well, except if we don't, because I think the 2 people with physical challenges, we have our person in the wheelchair, then we have the person who has is almost blind, right? So it's, it's just hard to know, like, how do you talk about eye contact with a person who is legally blind? I'm not sure.
Well, head up, right? Like, that's the point. You're saying that speakers who aren't aware of their audience tend to read, or they look down a lot. So if you just have your head up, your chin up when you're presenting, that's the point, right? And then posture, just having a commanding presence, or it's about having an assertive presence in the space. So it's not necessarily.
Am I sharing already, Roy?
Not yet. Now you are.
Excellent. Thank you. So funny when I do that, then it disappears my other view. So then I have to reestablish chat and participants. It's a funny little thing.
$60 seconds.
Thank you. Now, did you tell the rooms that they're shutting down, or they'd already completed?
Some of them have completed. Yeah. Looks like group 6, but the rest of the rooms are still in session.
Perfect. So you see the PowerPoint. What did you see in the second speech?
Yes, I see that.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and mute myself here at 10 seconds.
Thank you.
Oh, like the follow-up leadership foundation.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Glad to see you. So we got 29 minutes and then you get an hour-and-a-half break. Big day. You're doing great. Okay, so let me have some blue hands, please. I'd love to hear from you. What did you see in the second speech? What did you see in that stair step, the difference? Paul R., what did you see?
Yeah, we as a group have a formal consensus that the structure of our speech seemed a lot more flowy and a little less jagged. And I think it was per what you were saying, we almost had like a warm up in that first go.
Okay.
And then after getting through the kinks and through the comments, we were able to like compartmentalize our ideas and structure the speeches a little better. So top to bottom, our group was able to have a lot more clear cut speech.
Nice, excellent. That's cool that you could kind of see it in the whole group.
Yeah.
And, practice makes perfect. A little bit of structure goes a long way. One idea per post-it. Now you can kind of it's easy to that idea is not so strong. Let me push that down. Sometimes less is more. What I want to encourage you is to start looking for these micro speeches, these little moments. Doesn't always have to be a big ask, but it's a chance. That's how you make your career go forward. You step into the opportunity. And, like if you could do this with just a little bit of work, what can you do on Tuesday morning? Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
How about Crystal H? Crystal H, what did you see?
Yeah, I think for the presence-wise, executive presence, we saw a difference in people were trying to create better eye contact through Zoom, our posture, and projecting our voice. I think the first time we didn't realize our posture and how it affects you during your speech.
Nice. Okay, good. Good. How about for you yourself? Did you try that? Was that your?
Yeah, I did. I think it made a difference.
Excellent. And we're in this weird constraint. Most of us are sitting down, right? Like, so there's that, all of this stuff. We're all learning this new modality, but it's important because it's the one we're stuck in for a while. So, okay, excellent. Thank you for experimenting. Let's do a couple more. Natango, what did you see?
Hello. So I was actually in Paul's group, and I definitely second that. Not only was delivery better, I think people were more composed. It was definitely smoother. But the content, it was really nice to see that. I think everybody really listened from that first session, took to heart a lot of the feedback, and incorporated that in the second round. And that was really clear to see. At least in my group, I think everybody's was definitely better. I know mine was definitely better because of what people had told me and what I've imbued from the first one.
Thank you, Natango. And that's, be generous with each other. Like, may I offer something, right? And then, it's like one person offers, one person receives. And Sunday afternoon, go back and watch the video and see if you can, because it'll have faded. By Sunday, this will seem like a year ago. But go back and watch yourself. Like, take the little PDF, kind of think about the different, and then look and see, wow, and then give yourself a pat on the back. Way to go, Natango. You did good, right? You took a stair step. Thank you. Thank you for that. We'll do one more. How about Alexa T? I see.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on adding the speech act request. I really liked implementing that. It just made me feel like I was more in control of what I was asking. And I think in general, it's just a good way to end a request with the specifics of what you're asking and when you want it answered by. So I thought that was a really good way to just end all of our requests.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for observing that. Yeah, we kind of, executive presence is, but it's clean. It has a by when, it has a what, and it has an opportunity for them to respond. So excellent. I'm glad it gave you a sense of control, because that's also part of public speaking is I know when I'm going to end, right? It's not a mystery. I'm going to talk until they get tired of listening. Sometimes people actually don't know when they're going to end. But an executive goes in, I'm going to launch this plane, fly this plane, land this plane. And I'm taking people on this journey with me, right? We get ourselves ready to go, similar to how an athlete gets ready to compete or a dancer gets ready to perform. It is active, and knowing the start, knowing I've prepared, knowing I know my song well, and then knowing that I've sung my song and now I'm going to stop. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. All right, won't get to everybody. Let me go forward just a little bit. I'd like you now to kind of grade yourself, thinking about, we've been here 3 hours and 8 minutes. So where was I about public speaking before? Where am I now? Maybe you went backwards. I hope not, but hopefully you took a little step forward. Do you think that if it was a 0, maybe you're a 1? If you were a 9, maybe, hey, not only am I good at this, I could probably teach this. I'm better than that guy, right? I want everybody always to be in this space of discovery. Like, wow, I hadn't thought about that. People get paid to teach people how to talk. I talk for a living. This is easy for me. Some of you should probably be doing what I'm doing. Wherever you are when you started, where are you now? So give yourself a grade. All right, I want to just talk on page 10, this is super quick. Like I said, you can take entire classes in this, but these are some bonus tools. Number 1, constructive feedback. We already talked about that, but this is your study group. This is your fall quarter. I love to hear that you guys are supporting each other. That's the point of this week, or it's one point of this week, that you really start to realize, wow, I have something to offer to them and they have something to offer to me, and we're all here and we're in this together. Number 2, questions and answers. Hard to do that. We did a very short 2 to 3 minute. But when you are going to be running a meeting or making more like a 10-minute speech or a 15-minute speech, sometimes you want to go ahead and just plan time for question and answer, because then you don't have to try to say everything in your prepared remarks. You can, I'm going to leave some time at the end, and they will tell you anything that you left out, anything that you weren't clear about. Let your audience speak. Time, never, ever, 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 ever go long. That's just the cardinal sin. People get angry when it's supposed to end at 8 and it's 8:15 and you're still going. It just never goes well to go wrong. Arrive early. Always expect stuff to break down, especially when it's important. It never breaks down when it's not important. It breaks down when it's important. Get there early. Test your technology, find out who the support people are, learn their names, introduce yourself. They're going to be your lifeline when you need it. if this is like asking for the raise, be nice to the executive assistant. That's the person who controls the calendar for the decision maker that you're going to get to see. Get interested in that person, get to know them, be polite, be respectful. All these little things. Hamilton, I want to be in the room where it happened. How do I get in the room so I can be in the room when it happens? I learn about gatekeeping. I learn about etiquette. I learn about patience. Okay. So that's arrive early, expect things to go wrong, build your alliances with the people who can, get you out of trouble. Number 5, practice, practice, practice. I love some of the observations even right now. Like, wow, people gave the feedback. People incorporated the feedback. We all got a little bit better. Practice on all this stuff. Okay. It just helps. I practiced that speech yesterday. I've been practicing that speech yesterday for 17 years. I know it doesn't look like it, but what I'm capable of doing, that was my best effort. And, it's not Shakespeare. I'm very clear on that. But I love the Wooden quote. Success is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you did the best that you're capable of doing. That's my best effort. That's my best attempt to honor you and what you are doing with your life. You're going to graduate school. You trust UCLA. You trust Anderson. You trust FEMBA. You trust us. And you're trusting each other. And I wanted to give you my best effort. Hopefully, it didn't suck, but it's not even about that, because I know it's the best that I was capable of giving in the current constraints of my life. I practiced. And the persuasion continuum down here at the bottom, we touched about this. Sometimes a no is still a victory. It's okay. Executives are patient. Leaders are patient. Everybody doesn't change on a dime. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So those are some bonus tools I wanted to leave you with. Oops, turn this off. Today is practice. You practice twice. You've got these 2 videos. I'd love it if you'd watch those on Sunday afternoon. Share them with your friends and family. Look at me. This is me, right? If there's a real person in your life, I want you to ask them for what you want. And maybe you're not ready. Maybe you need to talk to your class some more, right? Get some more feedback. This still feels awkward, but practice, it'll get easier. Let the results start happening next week. Some of you with personal requests, you may make your requests Saturday night or Sunday afternoon or Monday at a barbecue. It's all good. That's the beauty of FEMBA, is you start to get the results in real time. And please send me your victories this year. I love those emails. So start looking for these moments where you can stand up and deliver value in your organization, in your life. Can you run a meeting? Can you introduce your boss in public? How can you help your boss? How can you help your boss's boss? It's the easiest way to get yourself exposure is just volunteer for stuff. Bosses, executives are busy. If you've got a little extra capacity, not a ton, I'm not saying do their job, but step into those opportunities. Hey, can I take that off your plate? Those are folks who build the goodwill that supports their careers really launching. Volunteer for projects. Step into difficult conversations. Mostly we're talking about professional results, but I've used this, this is, you can give a toast at a wedding, right? You can have this under your arm. You walk up, you ring the glass. Everybody, 150 people, all in their best clothes. The room gets still. You look out, you make eye contact. We're here today to honor Jessica and Justin as they begin their life together as a couple. And Jessica, to be Justin's best man is one of the honors of my life. And I want you to know that you got a winner. I've known Justin since 8th grade. He's my dearest friend. He's gotten me through the toughest parts of my life. I know he's always wanted to marry someone incredible. And when I see the light in his eyes, when he talks about you, I know you guys are going to make it. Right? Like you can use this to do that. You can speak from the heart. You can practice in advance. You can know what the points are that you want to land. Main point, Jessica, he's a good guy. Second main point, Jessica, he's lucky as heck to be marrying you. final main point. All of us, we're the village that's going to take care of Jessica and Justin. And it's an honor to be here. To the toast, to the toast. Practice. To the groom, to the bride, right? You can do this at a wedding. You can give a best man toast. You can give a maid of honor toast. You can use this at a funeral. You can honor someone who you love, who you respect, and you're going to be nervous, and you can think, what are the main things I want to say about my grandfather? Right? And you do the thinking beforehand so that when you're nervous, in the moment, you just look down and say, what do I love about Grandpa? He was always kind. What do I love about Grandpa? He took care of all of us. What do I love about Grandpa? He's not gone. He's in our hearts and he's still here. Like, communication, it's like the middle of everything. Everything we want to work in our lives has got communication with it. So, I love supporting you as one small piece of your big FEMBA journey. And I invite you to have fun with this. Practice it. Getting a raise is important. You're going to get lots of raises the rest of your life. It'll get easy. It may feel awkward at first, but just practice. But you can also use this for your personal life. So wanted to kind of say that. So last couple things. Let's make this real, and then I'll open it up to any Q&A that you have. So on page 11, this one's for you, right? You're going to forget. If you don't write it down right now, you'll forget. Could happen. So I invite you to write down, I request that my wife give me an answer for right now. Can we have another child by the end of the year, right? I request that my boss put me in for a 20% raise. I request that my boss support between 1/3 and 2/3 of my education, and that we get that clarified by the end of the calendar year. So you can make a professional one, you can make a personal one. So this, I invite you to print this out, and I invite you to fill it out, and I invite you to tape it somewhere where you'll see it, like next to your mirror in the bathroom, okay? Above your desk at home where you're going to study. Like, you can do this. You can ask for what you want in life and you can get it. So I invite you to look for that opportunity and make it real, write it down, put it on the wall so you don't forget about it. And then this one, this is the bonus. On the last page, I invite somebody, maybe the timer, I don't know, your team captain, play the game with your board of directors. What does Crystal want? Crystal wants a raise. What does Natongo want? Right? What does Edith want? What does Jarrett want? What does Amelia want? What does Brian want? Write it down. When do they want it? From whom do they want it? And then ask them, how can I support you? Right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a text chain. I love text chains. I got text chains with all my college roommates. We're always yapping at each other. Did you do that deal? Right? We get up under each other. Like, it's yours to create. But I invite you to bring a village point of view to it. Like, yeah, you're going to get yours, but it's what I love about management. I got mine a long time ago. I won the lottery. A good woman chose to say yes to me. And, it's the best. I love being in partnership with a high quality person, right? And now I get to be a dad. That's the best. And now I get to be a dean. This is the best. Like, I'm all good, right? Now it's about giving it away. It's sort of the second half of my career. So I want you to get yours for sure. Get yours. But it's such a bigger world when you're also giving others theirs and supporting them getting where they want to go. Management is getting stuff done with and through the time and talents of other people. You're getting a terminal degree. The highest level degree you can get in management is an MBA. And that's what you're getting. And you've got 1,000 days, 999 days to master this. So have fun with it. Watch your videos on Sunday. Pat yourself on the back, say good job. Have fun on Tuesday. Look for new opportunities to stand and deliver, to speak and lead. You're the CEO of your own life. Failure is not fatal. Failure to change might be. Coach John Wooden. So that's my last slide. If you need to go, I'll give you 10 extra minutes. 6:30, we have our keynote. Michelle Havens is 15 years out of FEMBA, and she's got a great story. So that's my official workshop. but I'm happy to answer any questions or anything. We got a few minutes here till the top of the hour. If anybody has anything. I don't know. Okay, Natango, yes.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. You mentioned earlier about leading with why it's good for you, as in the company or the boss or whoever it may be. If you're asking for something like a raise, which you just feel is kind of fair, commiserate, recognizing of responsibilities or something like that, how do you walk that line? Because I feel like that's less me saying, well, this is good for the company, and it's more saying, well, this is something that is fair and commiserate that you should do. And of course I'll be grateful, but.
Yeah. And like we're trying to distill so much into a workshop. So you've got Pam and Susan and Jackie and Matt, right? There are resources. So I don't have a fancy answer other than to say, there's always something in it. People very rarely do something that doesn't also have a positive outcome for them, right? And I want my team members to be happy. I have so many constraints being a manager at UCLA. There's, we have a gazillion constraints. But in my heart of heart, I want Roy and Raymond and Christy and Chris and Aaron and Cynthia. I want my team to be happy. So, it's like, and there's, Carla, our old senior associate dean, our prior senior associate dean, she always said, we get paid with either time or money. It's two sides of the same coin. So I am a highly autonomous manager with my team. I trust my team ridiculously. I can't always pay them a lot, but I can be very, very empowering with them about time. So there's always something in it for the other person, right? And you're putting your request in front of them, and you're taking the time, Natango, to think about what's in it for them. And you might be wrong. And they'll tell you, what, actually, none of that's even important to me. I appreciate all that. Really, I just want to do this because it's the right thing for you. You can get an answer like that. But going through the exercise, because there is something in it for them to have a satisfied workforce, a highly results producing workforce, right? So even if it seems like, well, this is all for you, they want you coming to work with your best energy, right? And talented people have choices. And if you leave, that's not in their best interest. So, if you take the time to think about what would really make your life sing, you put that in front of them, you give them the chance to say yes, no, or counteroffer, you've gotten a conversation begun. And sometimes you're taking your best effort at it. But you can even tell them, look, I know this is important to me, but I really wanted to ask myself, why is this important to the company also? This may not be perfect, but this is what I came up with. Does that help?
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Great. How about Chris X?
Thanks for giving us the workshop. So I think this is not very difficult for us to practice and then just go in to make that request. And from speaking with our team, we have team members making requests for salary increase or full-time jobs or even tuition reimbursements. But these are not that difficult. But I think what's the most difficult is if you get a rejection just with a no, when is the next best time or what kind of reasons you can bring back the request again? How should they do that? Or how should we do that?
Well, like be okay with the no. Like be gracious with the no. I've got a dear friend of mine who's a big time management consultant, and he regularly asks for the moon out of the gate. He goes into the conversation acknowledging them, he makes everything right. He's a big time management consultant in Petro down in Houston. He's one of their top producers. He's $1 million results producer kind of guy. And he says, I always ask for the moon. So I just automatically put something up on the table that's so big that they're going to say no. I let them say no, respectfully, graciously, no problem whatsoever. And then the conversation begins. So it could be, look, what's the name of your company, Chris?
My company? Gosh Medical.
Gosh Medical?
Yeah.
So look, I know it's probably impossible for me to be one of the top 5 compensated people at Gosh Medical. I'm going to go ahead and ask for it. I know you can't grant it, but I want you to know that's my aspiration. I want to be one of the 5 best compensated people here, not for my ego, but because that's the level of contribution I'm committed to making. That's why I'm getting an MBA. That's why I work these hours. That's why I lead these projects. I want a win-win outcome for you and for me, because this is my one and only wild and precious life, and I love what we do here. I love our mission. I love our value proposition. I love getting to be a contributor here. Right? You know, you can talk like that, and you can go ahead and give them a no. Well, Chris, yes, you're a ambitious young man. I respect that and I appreciate that. Yes, I don't want to be a wet blanket. You're a little bit away from being one of the top 5 people, but I like your gumption. I like your commitment to excellence. Right? You're getting a conversation started, right? But you're signaling to them like, hey, I'm not messing around. I want to make a difference. And I'm doing that in a world where people who make a difference are compensated for their time. So they say, look, here's what we typically do with a junior executive like yourself, right? We start to think about a pathway, and we start to have some mile markers towards that pathway. And we're going to start to evaluate you a little bit more management by objectives. We're going to put you into a pre-executive pathway, right? And you're just sitting there, just let them talk. Okay, right? So you gave them permission for the no because you asked for a big ask respectfully. And you're not just saying words. You got to own it. This is the part about your point of view. It's got to be real for you. Executives work long hours. Executives work hard. You got to be willing to step into that world. But if you're willing to step into that world, then go ahead and step into it with both feet. Experiment, fail, stub your toe, trip, stumble, get back up, keep going, all of that. But do it in a I believe in me kind of way. That's the fly your FEMBA flag. You want to raise your flag, your FEMBA flag to the top of the flagpole. I believe in me. I'm investing in me. And I would like you to believe in me. I would like you to invest in me also. I'm sorry, these are long answers to short questions, but does that help?
Yes, I think that helps. Thank you very much.
Nothing wrong with a no. It's entirely ready. I got so many no's. Can I go to Germany? Well, no. How about now? Can I go to Germany? Can I go to Germany? Can I go to Germany? The last day when they had the going away party, Alan, my original boss, my Santa Clara boss, said, I've never had an employee who showed up on day 1 and started talking about how he was ready to leave. But that's what I did from August of 95 when I started after grad school till September of 97 when I went to Germany and started my 3-year delegation. I just wanted to go to Germany. And I was okay with the no's. And I just kept, well, what else can I do? How else can I show you that I'm serious about this?
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, everybody. I don't see any more blue hands. And I do see that the big clock on the wall says 4:58. So never, ever, ever go long. 2 minutes of your life I'll give you back. Enjoy this break. We will see you at 6:30. Michelle is a wonderful, wonderful alum. She's part of your network. Can't wait to share her story with you. Thank you those are lovely acknowledgments. I appreciate those. So have fun this week. Support each other this fall, and send me emails when you create miracles. I know you're going to do it. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you, Roy.